Hello everyone, welcome to Technical Voice. In the last video we have created the Azure Container Registry, and in this video I will show you how to create or build Docker image through pipeline and upload on the Azure Container Registry. So we have created this Azure Container Registry in the last video. Let me go to the access keys and let me enable it. If you will not enable it, you will not be able to create a service connection with the Azure Container Registry. Okay, so let me go to the Azure DevOps portal, and this is our repos. And in order to create a Docker image, you must have a Docker file. Okay, so we have one application, this one. Let me run it for you. uh, so this is the same application that we have been using for our application, for our pipelines and other things. So this is the simple application. So we will create the Docker image through our pipeline for this application, and we will see how to run it on the portal. So in order to create a Docker image, you must have a Docker file. So let's create a Docker file. Right click on it, add, and Docker support. You need to select the which is the target OS. So I'm selecting the Linux, and OK, and go to the Docker file, and let me change it. So I'm not going into the depth of the Docker because it's not the scope of this, but just briefly that it is getting the a container, or for example you can say a isolated environment where the .NET 6 has installed, and copy all the files of this project into the that environment and run this application in that particular isolated environment. So that's it for the Docker file. So before pushing this Docker file into Azure repos, I want to show something. So if I go to the pipelines and I click on the new pipeline, and if I select Azure repos git and my app, you can see that it's saying that build and push on the image to the Azure Container Registry. We need to select this one. Okay, so before selecting this one, you need to push the Docker file, because this process needs the Docker file path. Okay, so what is the path of our Docker file? It's my app and then Docker file. Okay, so let me push this file, stage it, and edit Docker file, commit staged, and push. And if I go to the, let me open the new tab, and repos, my app, here is the Docker file. Okay, so let's create the build and push image to into Azure Container Registry. So select this one, so it will load the Azure subscription. So if it is not showing, sometimes it happens that it is not showing the subscription, please log out and log in again. So select this one, continue. So now it will asking it is asking the credential for Azure portal to create the service connection between Azure DevOps and Azure Container Registry. So let me give my credential, sign in, and so as you can see, it extracts the container registries available on the Azure DevOps. So currently we have one Container Registry, which is a technical voice. So it is asking the name of our image. Let's say that my app, let's say my application. So our app name is my app, so let me change it to my application. And the docker file path, so this is the source directory, and then my app and the docker file. Okay, so this is the path of our docker file, if you can see. So this is the my app and the docker file. Okay, so let me validate and configure. So it will create a YAML file for you where everything will be there. And so currently it is being generated. So this is the docker service connection path, image repository, container registry. So if I go to the service connections, and you can see this is docker Azure Container Registry service connection. It has just created when we give the credential of our Azure portal. So let me save and run. So let's go and see what it does. So if I go to the Azure portal and go to the repositories, and if I refresh it, you can see there is nothing uh, there and no images there. Let me, so once it's completed, it will create the docker image and push on the Azure Container Registry. So currently it is building and pushing an image. Okay, so it's just completed and push the image to the Azure Container Registry. So let's refresh and see it is there or not. So you can see my application is there. So you can also run this image on the Azure DevOps, sorry, on the Azure portal. So for this you can create the container instance. Let me create one and let me run it for you. So create a container instance. So select the resource group, your container name, let's say my application, and select the from where you want to pull the image. Is it some available instance? Is there any other registry? So but we are fetching from the Azure Container Registry, so select this one. So our registry name is technical voice and our image name is my application. So if we have multiple registries or images, then they will be populated there. Okay, so currently we have only one, so that's why it's saying that my application only one, it's showing the only one image. So select this one. So tag it will automatically create the image tag, and it also select the OS automatically based on the image, and you can also change the size if you have just for the performance purposes. So go to the next networking. We want as a public, advanced, next, and review and create. And hit on create. So in the start of the video I'll show you what is my application. I just run on the local environment. So the same application will be run on the Azure Container instance through our Azure Container Registry image. Okay, so its deployment is completed. Let's go to the resource, go to the containers, you can see that our container is running. And if I go to the overview and select the public IP and paste it here, you will see that the same application that was running on our local machine is now public now. So that's it. Okay, so as you can see that we did not install the Docker on our machine, we did not create or build the Docker image, so everything deployed and automated through the pipelines. So the pipeline is responsible to build the Docker image and then push to the Docker to the Azure Container Registry, and you can see here's the images running. So that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next. Thanks. Bye bye.